year is 1976, on a Friday night in a college dorm somewhere in Georgia. The small record player on the dresser is skipping slightly on a Stevie Wonder album, but no one bothers to fix it because they are getting ready for a party. One girl is busy at the ironing board. Guess what she's ironing? No, it's not a skirt or a dress, it's her hair. And her roommate is in the bathroom with her face dipped in a bowl of ice water, counting down mentally. And no, she didn't have a death wish. She wasn't trying to drown herself either. That was her beauty routine. If you think about it deeply, you'd realize that women back then had the clearest and softest skin any generation has ever seen, and it cost almost nothing. So who's the crazy one now? Number 6 will make you want to trash every toner you've ever bought. And number 1 was so effective and so cheap that an entire industry had to be invented just to compete with it. Here are 10 insanely cheap beauty tricks from the 1970s that actually worked and somehow completely vanished. Trick 10. Improvised hair straightener. The 1970s teenage girl with thick or curly hair had a secret tool. It was the same one her mother used to straighten the sheets. And she made it look so easy. She would spread her hair flat across the table, lay brown paper over it, and press down with the heated iron. The brown paper acted as a buffer so the iron never touched the hair directly. The same job as today's $30 can of heat protecting spray. Today, a professional grade flat iron can cost up to $200, and if you choose to book a keratin straightening treatment at the salon, you need at least $250. Now her hair is smooth, but will it stay that way? Would it last the Georgian summer or a party that ran till 2 a.m.? Don't worry, she already made arrangements for that before she even touched the iron, starting with her face. Trick 9. Ice face mask. Every night before going to bed, she had a quiet ritual. She would pour some cold water from the tap into a wide bowl, add in a full tray of ice cubes, and give it 2 minutes to dissolve. Then she'd take a long breath, lean in, and dip her face in with her eyes open. After mentally counting 30 seconds, she'd raise her head, and the difference was tighter skin. No puffiness, glassy skin. And she'd repeat the same process the next morning. Want to know what this process has evolved into today? Cryotherapy. Spas can charge up to $200 for a session. There are even $35 ice rollers, $45 cooling facial globes, $60 cryo sticks, $90 refrigerated eye serums. All these just to replicate the basic physiological effect of cold on skin. Science has not changed in 50 years, but the price tag has skyrocketed. Now her face was smooth and tight, but summer wouldn't be complete without one more thing. Color, and you wouldn't believe where she found it. The medicine cabinet. Trick 8, the iodine and baby oil suntan. This one needs a big disclaimer. Do not try this at home. Modern dermatology is very clear about why, and we'll get to that shortly. Whenever she needed to add color to her skin, the 1970s teenage girl would mix a few drops of tincture of iodine into a bottle of Johnson's baby oil. Then, she would shake the bottle until it turned into a warm amber color and smoothed it on her arms, shoulders, and legs. Once that's done, she would step outside and lie in the Georgian sun for hours. The oil made the skin more transparent to UV, letting the rays sink deeper and the skin burn faster. So, yeah, it worked, in the smallest possible sense of the word. The only problem is, it also puts her at risk of cancer. Recent research has shown that that process can cause UV damage to the skin and lead to accelerated aging and increased melanoma risk. Hey, it's not their fault. Back then, they didn't know better. It might have vanished because science caught up with it. But look how fast a billion-dollar industry appeared to fill the gap. And that's the same trend with this next trick. Only this time, the ingredient was far more ordinary, highly accessible, and affordable. Trick 7. The petroleum jelly mask. Before the 1970 woman went to bed, she always sat at the nightstand holding the blue jar of petroleum jelly. She'll remove the lid, scoop a little with her ring finger, and rub a thin layer gently on her face, not forgetting the fine lines on the corners of her eyes. Then she went to sleep. By morning, her skin looked a decade younger than it was the previous night. The Vaseline didn't add anything to her skin. Instead, it kept everything in. This process is called occlusion. A large jar of petroleum jelly, since 1870, cost less than $3. The same occlusion principle has been packaged into luxury overnight masks and skin barrier creams. Some brands sell these for over $145. Whether $3 or $145, both have the same active mechanism. It just got a frosted glass jar, an exotic French name, and a huge price tag. Sealing moisture overnight was only half the equation. What did she do in the morning? Trick 6, Glycerin and Rose Water Toner. There was one small glass bottle that always sat on her vanity. She never joked with it. 2 secret ingredients, glycerin and rose water. Both cost less than $1. She mixed 1 cup of glycerin to 3 cups of rose water. If her skin ran oily, sometimes she'd add a few drops of witch hazel. She applied the mixture using a cotton pad every morning after washing her face. That was why her skin never aged. Today, that simple miracle mixture has been transformed into a $95 luxury toner. Hold for a minute. Can you notice the trend? Cold temperature tightens skin. Occlusion seals moisture. Humectants draw water to the surface. These aren't just random folk remedies. They are documented scientific facts that have not changed in 50 years and will not change in the next. What changed is your awareness. Because the moment you know the truth, a huge margin disappears from the balance sheet. What if they weren't forgotten by accident? The next part of this list is where that question gets harder to brush off, because it only gets worse. Trick 5, Scotch Tape Facelift. Before any important event, the 1970s woman would get a strip of clear Scotch tape and place it on her temples, pulled back with light tension, and tucked it just beneath her hairline. Some other time, a fine flesh-colored thread was used instead, looped discreetly behind the ear. The result was quick. You'd notice a subtle lift at the outer eye almost immediately, and the jawline visibly tightens. The modern version of this is a special lift tape that comes with skin-matching shades sold for $80. Nothing changed. The tape just got a new name and fancy packaging. But when she returns from the party, how would she deal with the dark circles from a late Friday night? Trick 4, Coffee. And no, she doesn't drink it. The coffee was already made. She just needs to scoop a small amount out. Allow it to cool before pressing it gently under her eyes. Let it sit for about 10 minutes and then rinse off with clean water. No more puffy dark circles, just firmer skin. Why? Because caffeine constricts blood vessels. Some brands today sell their eye cream for up to $100, but in 1970, it was as simple as a cup of coffee. Once that was done, the next thing in her routine was Trick 3, Pure Honey Face Mask. She'll spread a thin layer of honey across her face, let it sit, and rinse with warm water 15 minutes later. It always left her skin calmer and smoother. What she didn't know was that raw honey naturally contains antibacterial compounds, and it is hygroscopic, so it traps moisture. Smooth skin wasn't the only thing women cared about. Every woman wants bright skin that looks younger than their years, and for that, she did something very strange. Trick 2, Milk and Oatmeal Bath Gel. The original historical credit for this one goes to Cleopatra. But in 1974, when a woman's skin was irritated, dry, or breaking out, she headed to the kitchen, not the drugstore. She blends some rolled oats into powder and adds it to her bath water, followed by a big splash of milk. Then she'll lie in the tub for 30 minutes. Her skin becomes totally different afterwards. Softer, smoother, silky. To get a simple oatmeal and milk treatment at a modern spa, you might need $100. Her skin is settled now, but what about her hair? That is the most controversial ingredient on this list. Trick 1, Onion Juice. Somewhere in America, in 1974, a woman crushes some onion, strained the juice through a cloth, and worked the liquid into thinning areas of her scalp before bed. Yup, she wasn't cooking dinner, it was for her hair. The smell was awful, but the results were incredible, deeply rewarding. Researchers have realized that onion contains sulfur compounds that may support keratin production, improve scalp health, and influence hair growth processes. Today, the scalp treatments at salons cost hundreds of dollars. Who would have thought that onion could do the trick? It wasn't magic. All of these hacks have been scientifically proven. The ingredients didn't change, but the price and packaging did. And somewhere we stopped trusting anything that didn't come in a branded bottle.